Hello, Blake Rudis here with day 16 of the 30 days, 30 critique sessions. I'm really excited to get into ALAIN VERSLUYS photo here. I hope I said that right and didn't butcher it too much. I tried to do this like Google pronunciation thing and hopefully it worked. But can't wait to look at this image. It's going to be a good time. But before we do that, I got some messages that I want to talk about and then the twist. So the first one comes from Lewis Burley, who says, I love this series. Is it possible it could still be a monthly series? It is a monthly series. That's the cool thing about this. I do this every single month on F64 Elite, and guess what? As soon as I'm done rendering this video and publishing it to YouTube, I have 12 images that I'm going to be recording, editing, and putting up on the site today so that F64 Elite members can see 12 critique sessions tomorrow. So if this is something that you're interested in and you really enjoy this series, guess what? It happens every single month on F64 Elite, and John Chambers can back that up with saying halfway through and still going strong, it must be hard to put out an interesting video once a week on YouTube, and here Blake is managing to do that on a daily basis. The twist that can't make it any easier. It is a challenge, but I'm having a lot of fun. This is the kind of energy and enthusiasm that we see all the time on F64 Elite. So I can back that up. I can say that this happens every month. So we have another twist from Sonia Bella. Time to channel your inner nerd, Blake. I show my inner nerd all the time. Use only channels when creating any masks needed for the critique image. You can edit them as needed with adjustments, blend if, etc. Bonus points for doing at least one color modification using channels and apply image. Okay, we'll see what we can do. Maybe I can combine both of those. And then we also had this one here from Darcy. Use a 50% gray layer set to soft light for dodging and burning. Blake, thanks for the education. Things I've learned on F64 layer being reinforced here. So glad to be a member. Man, I love this. I love this. So I'm going to do both of them because I think that I can work that into the image. But let's get into the critique. ALAIN, I really enjoy this image. You know, I select these images randomly, and it popped on this one, and I opened it up, and my immediate first thought was Abbey Road. My father is a huge Beatles fan, and he just recently visited Abbey Road for the first time about a year and a half or 2 years ago, and it was great seeing the video footage of him walking across it from all the way across the pond. That was pretty cool. But what I see here is like the working man or working woman's version of Abbey Road. And I think that that is so cool. You know, look at the way their feet are placed in each of these individual spots. Now, I don't know if this was coincidence or if you took 4 individual shots and then stitched them together. Either way, it doesn't necessarily matter to me. You could have also maybe masked these people in. It doesn't matter to me. I think it's really interesting. And I really enjoy all of the, the straight lines and how it's balanced. You have perfect balance on the right-hand side, perfect balance on the left-hand side, and these nice straight lines. And I think that that is really cool. It's an homage to the working class, really. In my personal opinion, when I see this, I see this idea that without this working class, we don't have the buildings that we have. We don't have the roads in the shape that we have them. And there's something to give thanks to individuals who go out there every single early morning and get this done. So to me, it's kind of like a nice homage to that. And I don't know if that's what your intent was for this, but I think it's really interesting, especially with that kind of Abbey Road, that iconic Abbey Road kind of feel to it. Now, I do have a disconnect. 2 of them. One of them is that I feel like you have almost all these perfect straight lines, except for at the top, it just starts to lean. And this is an image that relies very heavily on balance. So I'm going to show you a little cheat on how to fix that. It's very simple, very easy, and it'll fix this whole image up in seconds. And then I do want to add a little bit of dodging and burning here to cook some areas so that they creates a little bit of depth and then brightens some areas up to draw the eye in. And the third thing is the color on the vests. This is something that I don't think I'm going to be able to fix, to be quite honest. There's this deep saturation to them, but then also this deep darkness to them. And once they've been taken to that route and there's zero detail in them, there's not much I can do to those vests. Now, they do stand out, and I think it's important that they stand out because that's part of the conversation with this image. But I think that there's this weird kind of almost sticker kind of feel to them. They don't feel right. Okay, so that's something that you might have to do. You might have to go back and rework this to get some more detail back in those because the detail is gone, but we'll talk about that when we get into the work. Okay, so the first fix here is to fix this line. If I press Command or Control R, it'll give me some rulers, and I can click in here and drag down a guide. So the line I'm talking about right here is right up here. Okay, I want that to be even. Okay, so I'm going to need to lift that up. But let's drag some lines here, make sure that these ones are okay. That's pretty good. This one is pretty good too, and this one is pretty good too. So we'll see what happens after we fix this. In order to do this, you really need Photoshop. This is not something that you can really fix with any other crop method. You're going to need the transform tool, and you're going to need Photoshop. It's really kind of hard to do this in any other program. That's why a lot of times I like doing my cropping and my fixing of the images in Photoshop. So I'm going to turn the lock off on this, press Command or Control T on this, and then I can just press the Control key and click right up here, and then also press and hold Shift to make sure that it maintains a straight line as I pull it up. And I'm just going to pull that up until it meets the top there. And that's it. Okay. And then press Enter. That's it. That's all it took. And then I'm going to grab that line and see if those are now matched up. Yep. We're matched up across the top. We are pretty darn good on the bottom. It doesn't necessarily need to be moved anymore. Pretty good on that line too, and pretty good on that line too. Those aren't the problem. The problem was the bigger one up there. So now I'll go into the channels and I'm going to see if I have any data or detail in this. Now, when I make this a mask, when I just click on that and look at it as a mask, I can see exactly where that color is coming in, and it's going to be in the red channel. But you see what I'm talking about here? There is no detail in there. Okay, we've lost all the detail. There are some lines that are happening in there, but we've lost any like fabric kind of detail to it. And you know, those things are pretty stiff, so they might not even have any fabric detail, but the coloring on it is just not working out very well for us. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and go into an HSL adjustment layer to try and fix those, because the channel masks aren't going to work for me. I will figure out a way to use that though, trust me. So I'm going to go into an HSL adjustment layer. I'm going to click the targeted adjustment tool, and I'm going to click on that color. And I'm just going to try and, like, if I brighten it, you see it just like, it just fades completely and it's gone. If I reduce it and make it darker, we just don't get anything out of it. If I try to reduce the saturation on it, it just doesn't hit right. So there's something happening here in the processing of that color that I would recommend that you fix in the process of editing this image. We can try to just make it a little bit less prominent by just reducing the saturation on it, but there's something underlying happening there with that. So that is something I would definitely consider. All right, so one thing I do want to focus on is the brightness that is happening. It just feels very bright everywhere. So I'm going to use a channel mask for this. I'm going to find the mask that I think works best for the brightness of this image. And it looks like it might be in the red channel. Okay, yeah, maybe. Let's go with the blue channel, actually. I'm going to control click on the blue channel, go into my layers, and I'm going to add a curve adjustment layer here. Now, because I only want this to affect the brightness of this, I'm going to set this to luminosity, okay? And then I'm just going to move this down a little bit, just so that we get a little bit of darkness in that really bright area, okay? There's a lot of brightness happening here. Now, that's going to help darken this stuff down quite a bit. You see that? Okay? But it might be a little too much, so I'll slowly drop the opacity until I get this dialed in where I want. All right, so that is looking pretty good right there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some dodging and burning here. I don't think I can fix this with color, so I don't think I'm getting any bonus points, but I definitely fixed the brightness with that blue channel there. So Darcy had recommended using a 50% gray layer set to soft light as my dodging and burning method. So I'm actually going to use my Dodge and Burn Pro panel for this, which actually comes with your F64 Elite membership. There was a course I did in 2021 that includes this dodging and burning panel. So all I got to do here is press this 50% gray mode, and I'm ready to go. Then I'll set my brush to one of these brushes here. It's got a nice texture to it. Make that brush smaller. And if I brush with the dodge tool, it's going to brighten the image. So anything that gets brighter than 50% gray will basically dodge that area, and anything that is darker than 50% gray will burn that. So I have to use the Alt or Option key because this is set to the Dodge and Burn tool here. And I like to use the Dodge and Burn tool on a 50% gray layer specifically, so you don't press X to switch between black and white. Some people use a black and white version of dodging and burning. I actually really like this version of dodging and burning because I can do both at the same time and I can do it on the fly. You know, recently I've been using this thing called Painted Light and Painted Darkness, which is on a solid color fill layer, and I really enjoyed that way of dodging and burning too. So to go back to this one is cool because you don't have to switch between layers to do the dodging and burning. So I just did my dodging. If I press and hold the Alt key or Option key on a Mac, I can start burning areas that I want to draw the viewer's eye away from. So if I release the Alt key, I can then go into dodge mode, okay, and then press Alt key, go into burn mode. Dodge mode, burn mode. Dodge mode, burn mode. Camera 1, camera 2. That's kind of Wayne's World. Okay, and then what I'll do is get a big brush here, hold Alt or Option so it's a big burn, and just burn all of this right here. All right, and this should help create a sense of depth. So here's your fully before and here's your after. Now this might be getting a little bit heavy, so I can just drop the opacity here. And then this is a little bit strong too, so I can drop this opacity here as well, okay? And just kind of dial that in. So I think that helps out a lot just to give it a little bit more darkness. If we were to do a tone evaluation of this, that comes with the self-critique, we put that on. Here's your before, just very bright. It's really bright everywhere. We're just narrowing the attention down into this space. So it's not so much on that road down there and more on them right there, okay? Draw the viewer in. I really like that. And our showcase image comes from an anonymous F64 Elite member. One of the things that I struggle with the most is photographing in the woods. I find it very difficult to find a subject when you have chaos on top of chaos on top of chaos on top of chaos. But what I think that this individual did was such a great way of working with the light to navigate my viewer's eye right down that path. And what it feels like it's doing here, I feel like I'm carving my way through this path because of the way that the light is set. And then there's this deep kind of dark vignette on the foreground that almost makes this feel like a set of bushes that I'm walking through. Kind of like, you know, when like you watch like Alice in Wonderland and you have these bushes that are like square bushes and like the design work on the bushes, and it feels like you're walking through it almost like it's a maze or something like that. That's what I feel like is happening here. Like there's so much depth that's happening from foreground to background that I feel like I can just walk through this. The space that you've created with the color, the way the light is falling on there, I can almost smell the trees. I can almost feel a cool morning breeze. You know, that little slight chill that's in the air where you have to wear a hoodie and you just can't wait to get back to your car and get some tea. At least that's what I do. But I start feeling that when I see this image because of the way that it's processed. And, you know, you're navigating my eye very wonderfully. There's no one color that grabs my attention, but they all work so well together. It's kind of like soup. You know, when you eat soup, all the flavors kind of run together. But if you really taste for it, you can taste each individual flavor as you're eating that soup. It's all combined, right? Yeah. But you can still taste the individual flavors, and I feel that with your color work here. So wonderful work here. Thank you for sharing this with us. All right, you might be wondering where this shirt came from. Well, I just got a new shirt from Give Kids Art, Create Fearlessly. Love the messaging there. They just turned 6 yesterday. I saw that on their Instagram. That's really cool that they've been doing this for 6 years, giving kids art. And I'm really glad that we can come together, F64 Academy, all the members and the private donors that are outside of F64 Academy, 96 of them. That's awesome. 96 people have come together to donate to the cause. And we are right at $5,700, which is a combined effort of engagement with F64 Academy and also with the individual donations. And the individual donations are just blowing the engagement out of the water when it comes to these videos. I had a feeling that these videos would go a little bit further than they would, but I feel like they're being held back. If you see, the views are getting lower and lower each day, and that part of that is because the notifications aren't going out to individuals. So if you're a subscriber of this channel, make sure that you click the little bell icon that next to the part that says subscribe, and then subscribe to all, just to make sure that these notifications are hitting you. So if you haven't subscribed to F64 Academy, this is a great opportunity to do that, because 25 cents of every subscription is going to the kids. If you've got a twist idea for tomorrow for day 17, just put it in the comments below. Whatever one gets the most likes, I'm going to use it. I might even use both of them. You never know. All right. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate all your participation. I really appreciate all the great comments. It's putting a lot of wind of my sails to keep this going for the next 14 days. So you guys are awesome. You rock. Thank you so much for all of your support and everything that we're doing here on the 30 Days, 30 Critique Sessions.